Hello, and welcome back to the Speaking of Tea podcast. You are with your host, Rochelle, and today I am drinking Divine Madman Jawam fermented tea with oak ash in it. It is amazing. I really do feel like a madman woman with this. I don't know. It is just some incredible energy, dude. Like, it's like velvety and smooth. You can feel the fermentation. It's like decomposing as it steeps. Like the leaves are actually disappearing into my cup. And like mm, it is magic. Magic. I'm looking at the word magic in front of me and it is magic. I had to drink it today to just have a great tea session. Sometimes I just like really wonder, like, oh, should I drink that tea? Should I drink that tea? Oh, that's really like, oh, that nice one. I kind of save it for like a special occasion, a special moment. Like, what more special occasion or moment do I want? Like, why didn't I just have the nicest tea that I desire? Duh. Simple. Like, I don't spend a ton of money on alcohol and other things. So, like, why don't I just enjoy this really nice tea? And it's yeah, anyways, I am doing that today. That is what I've chosen. And like the color is just so black and like I'm pouring out another fresh cup right now, so you'll hear me adoring it in just a moment. Wow. Honestly, the darkness of it is just it's like muddy. This is a muddy tea. Oh. Mm. Like it is so smooth. Like it's not soup, but it's got like the smoothness of a really well blended like potato soup, you know? Really cream and or like mashed potatoes, really good smooth mashed potatoes. Like I don't know. It's that kind of feeling. Wow. Divine. It is divine. Like it is called Divine Madman. It is. It is divine. See, it works. It is just radiating through me. If you're looking for a fine tea to get you to this level of joy, I will point you in the right direction, my friend. Absolutely. Oh, this is the start I needed. Okay, I had a couple of topics actually in mind to talk about today, and I'm going to get deep. I'm going to get more raw. Um, uh, just get into what's really been going on in my heart, where my mind's been at, what I'm working towards, and change that I'm creating in my life at this point, career wise. Huge career shifts going on right now for me. Um, but I guess also this is the first podcast of the new year, so happy 2025. It's been a couple weeks since I put one up, so here we are on well, right now it is Monday, January 13th. Uh, relevant? I don't know. It's nice to state. It's just nice to state it. uh, okay, one sec. It's actually a little, yeah, I do need to center myself. For some reason, it's actually a little hard for me to like get into talking about it. I'm going to be right in the flow once I do start, but career shift is wanting to do more with my gifts and what knowledge I have, how I can help others, um, in my own way. I have been working for the Canadian Mental Health Association for just about 4 years now. I've always been a casual employee with a fluctuation of shifts. Like people call in, so you get more shifts in a month and maybe you plan or whatever. So I've had to work other jobs during it, but a bonus of it is that there are times when there's not as much to do, so I get to like I developed my whole tea company while working there in some shifts. Like there's like midnight shifts where your clients are in bed, you do enough chores that need to be done and etc. and you have free time. So I really I developed Mecha Tea um through working there, which is amazing. And I've did my editing and finishing my poetry books while working there. Well, of course, did stuff at home, but like, oh yeah, a fair amount of time spent doing those things in my free time during the job. So, it was rewarding for that. So, but you hear me talking about things that I'm doing for myself while I'm there, right? Like, it's just an interesting place for me to have been for a long time, and it's like it's supporting my own sense of development, working in mental health. My own mental health and stability has been um in a certain way, I don't know, growing, provided for, and whatever, how to explain it. But I work as a support worker. Is really my job. Get into what I actually do. I'm a support worker for people struggling with mental health in some way. So my clients can be in really active addictions, and or they can be recovering from being in the psych ward. They could just be in a place where they have some mental health thing going on, but they're homeless, and we're a transition house for moving them into somewhere else and providing services and a grounding place to be. So at my one location, it's like it's smaller, and we make the main meals. We provide the meals for them, um, and then we do general cleanup in the house, but we're also there to support them if they need to like talk. They didn't talk for 5 minutes. They didn't talk for 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. We are there for them, right? Like it's that. Excuse me, that kind of thing. Um, we keep notes and we keep records of things about what's going on with them. Um, in this job, I always work alone. Like we just trade shifts at the beginning of shifts, so with this like 24-hour facility. So I haven't really experienced there a ton of working with people, which is like good and bad. Like I like being independent in my work, but I also really would benefit sometimes to have another staff on with me. And I think other like things could go a lot better sometimes. And so at my other location, I do sometimes get another staff with me, and we get to just talk about what's going on with the tenants, with the decompress and whatever we're feeling about things, etc. So yeah, so working at a couple of locations. I mean, I've worked across like 4 locations and roles basically with the organization. It's a non-for-profit organization. Um so yeah, in another location it's like way bigger. There's a lot more stuff going on with those tenants, and tons more people. There's really active addictions going on. I don't know. Anyways, I am not fulfilled in this role anymore. Um, it's not the type of people that I feel. I I I don't feel very connected at all to the lifestyle. Um, I don't always agree with how we treat situations and how we are making programs or not really making programs, that people aren't very responsive to whatever it is we're trying to offer. And in a way that's just dragging me down in a way, because I have I do so much research, and I'm always putting my mind towards how to understand people and help and serve. And I mean, my sense of empathy, my ability to listen to people is huge in this role. And like I'm caring for people that a lot of other people would have a hard time caring for. Now, I don't look at an addict and think terribly of them. I think about how they could use some more support. And there is some just basic level of support that you can give people just for them just to be heard and understood on a certain level can really change their day and change their attitude towards you. And then that changes their attitude towards other people out in the world. If they feel connected to you and heard, it is powerful. It's just that I have so much more I can offer in my life with different skills, with my tea, with poetry, with anything. I mean, I think about grief a whole bunch, and I think I can help guide people through grief processes. I and I think I do. I think I do help people in my life. So there's work and then there's my life. And the two have always felt really rather separate for me, and that's also not working for me. I really want to integrate my worlds, and I want to do more purposeful work and not go there and be like, I could be doing more somewhere else. Well, where else is that else? You know, and that's the other struggle. And where the tea business doesn't make a substantial amount of money, working there has always kept me, you know, um, like financially grounded and making money or helping me top up money that I've made elsewhere. But um, and it's good pay. Uh, it's good enough. But I'm wanting to offer more. I wanted to do more. I have so many more gifts, and I can't even list right now. I can't think at the top of my head all of the things that I do have to offer people, and I think really good guidance and honestly my ability to listen. And I know I'm sitting here just talking my face off because I like being on the microphone. I like talking, and this is part of the gifts that I want to give to the world. I want to just I like to be on here to talk and like present ideas that are going on in my head, and whoever the sense of reaching, it might speak to them on some level and something, right? And that's what I'm really enjoying about the podcast. Like, um, and then people might get something out of it. Someone, maybe different people, and they'll resonate at different levels. That's part of the work that I want to do and really sharing. And so like I don't get to have these kinds of deep conversations with these clients. It just doesn't really happen. Like that's not really the vibration and the frequency that is going on in these places that I work at. And I care for people. I have a big heart. I'm very empathetic. It's just not for me. I'm going to take a sip of this tea. Hold on. Mm. Oh my God. Like sweet, smooth. Do you think that leaves breaking down like compost and ash is sweet and smooth? It is. Oh my God. I love it. I'm so in love with this tea. When I first went and applied for a job with Canadian Mental Health Association, I was stoked. I'm like, oh my God, like this job opening up, like this is what I want to do. I want to work in mental health. Like in the university, when I had different open-ended projects for things, like here's the general thing, make your own project out of it. I kept carrying my work towards mental health in some capacity. So like I did um like a little like a magazine thing. I did like I don't know, it's like 10-ish pages or so magazine. I was doing like cutouts, I was doing little interviews and blurbs and stuff, and kind of pasted it all in there, made it kind of like 80s or 90s punk rock magazine style. Like I loved it. That was a really cool project, and I made that to be about like metal and emo music and mental health, and how playing music or listening to that music, how people found really like deep comfort in it. And and I know how many, well, I don't know, but I'm aware of like this music has saved so many lives because people have connected and resonated to what the musicians are saying. And I wanted to create something with that. I wanted that to be known. I wanted at least that to be known to my peers. um and I think all those the peers in those settings are very much of a different musical background, musical culture and stuff. I'm an emo kid, and nobody else there was, but it was kind of fun to be able to expose like, here are the good feelings coming from this. If you hadn't known, if you had never really tuned in, this is what it was about. So I did that. I did other kind of like mental health things. I mean, I know I did one project in like media mental health class. That was a cool one. So backing up a little bit, my degree was in media studies, the faculty was the Faculty of Information Media Studies, and the main program there was Media Information Technoculture, MIT, not MIT. It's our MIT. It was Western Ontario's MIT. Yeah, we were something very specific. And then I went into an even smaller program that was Media in the Public Interest. So I had these really specific media courses, a lot of philosophy, it was a lot of critical study, and it was a lot of here's how the media is doing things, and here's how we can break it down and understand it deeper on a deeper level and see what they're really doing, what are they really saying, is it true, and how we can work to identify kind of maybe what's wrong with in the messaging, or what's being them being very strategically manipulative in different forms depending on what the industry or the messaging was. And anytime I try to describe my degree, it always comes out different. Always. I don't think I've ever told it twice the same way, but I've given the basic overview of, whatever's popping up in the moment. The joke with my program is that nobody actually knows what I studied, but they know I have a degree. It went in so many different areas. A lot of different kind of philosophical concepts. Freud came up many times. And go Marshall McLuhan. You deserve a shout out here. The medium is the message, but the medium is the massage. So, where was I backtracking from here? Projects, school projects, and medium. Well, medium mental health. Oh, okay. I did a whole essay breaking down the Bell Let's Talk movement. Bell Let's Talk. Lovely. It's a thing where people were just are encouraged to spill their entire guts online about their mental health to contribute 10 cents to mental health, I don't know, services or research. I don't even know where they're spending their money. Whatever. What I really understood doing that project was that it's just a big tax break for them. And their employees just get treated like shit for their mental health. I don't know. Do I swear on this podcast? Whatever. Sorry. So it just kind of all amounted to they're in a huge conglomerate organization that doesn't actually practice the values that they're preaching, and your story is worth 10 cents. 10 cents. 10 cents to whoever is collecting it, and just asking you to do a ton of hashtags just to advertise the company, and they'll get more sales because Bell cares about you. I would like to say they do. They don't. But the best part about it is that they are putting mental health awareness out there. They are getting people to notice and care and share their stories. And that's wonderful. And then people forget about it a couple of days later. But some people remember how brave you were about sharing what's going on with you. And then it doesn't matter. And then you have to go other places because that money, that 10 cents that you gave with that hashtag is not going to go back to you. It's not. I'm laughing, but I think you can tell how it's sort of an empathetic criticism of them. Yeah. So, then at that time, I knew that mental health being portrayed in the media and how it was, how to help yourself, it was still being done wrong. And it's always being done wrong to a certain extent. But I just have all these different ideas, and I've done a lot of growing with my own anxiety. I did start to get panic attacks when I was 17 from a situation at a concert, actually. Long story short, Buddy tackled another guy down onto the ground, had him trapped in a headlock, and he looked like just seriously wanting to choke him and kill him. And I was not having it. I went right down, was fighting the guy. I'll send in a little beep there. Fighting this guy to let go, but his arms were just steel. And there was just And like it was going wild. I mean, people are moshing around me, like kicking and whatever. Like I was in danger. Sure, I just need to save this kid's life. And so I eventually did get a moment when he loosened up enough just to pull the kid up and then just toss him to the security guards. But that hit me bad. That hit me hard, and I started getting panic attacks after it. Uh, so it was terrible for me. But at the same time, I was thankful because it got me really learning about mental health. I got to understand other people and their struggles and where they're at. And I've always taken that as a blessing. Like, yes, I'm struggling, but I've just always been in the mindset to learn and learn about mental health and how other people, do stuff to care for their own mental health. And um then how I can, and it was always projecting for a very long time, like how people can do things for their mental health and how I can kind of have a list of like, you know, uh, resources and techniques that I can offer people and how to help people. And maybe truly I'm doing this all for my own growth, my own self, that I know that where I can reach these resources to help myself. Projection. It took a long time to stop projecting and deal with my own mental health. But, it's okay. We get there eventually. And then, other things happened in life, yada, yada, et cetera, et cetera. And then I found a job with the Canadian Mental Health Association. Oh, great. Well, I always kind of had a problem too that the job that I applied for was just the only credentials you needed was a high school diploma. I'm like, well, it's a step in, right? It's a step in. They'll recognize what I'm good at here. And, whatever. I still want to get into this kind of work and we'll see what it's all about. And it's just never been what I thought. It's never been what I thought I would get into. The type of enthusiasm that I had in university to work with mental health, the ideas that I had, the directions that I could take it in, how I felt I could really do projects to help people in the world. I did a placement with they're called mindyourmind.ca. And they're based out of London. That's where I went to university, was in London, Ontario. So I did a placement with them and went a couple of days of the week. And I was doing a blog article series about mental health and music, I believe. Was it about mental health and music? I forget what the series actually was, but I know if you go on their website and actually you type in my name, you'll get like a little link to my name, and then all the articles that I had written and that were posted, they're still there. So if you feel like doing the dive in there, maybe I'll put a link in the description with that so you can take a look. I haven't read those in quite a while, and part of me is definitely shy because I'm like, quality of my writing at that time, something. Anyway, it's still good. I think it's still good. Someone was editing and looking over my stuff before they posted it. I think it's good. But like that kind of thing, and then it's blog writing. And for some reason, even though I've totally developed my own websites, my own Mecha 2 thing, I've never actually just gone to do that on my own, because there's some part of me that's just like, well, who am I to be a spokesperson for mental health? What? Well, why not? Now I can actually say I have been working in mental health care for 4 years. So yeah, who am I? I am a social worker, so technically, yeah, now I have this credentials that I've been waiting for, but I never needed it. I could have just put my thoughts and stuff out there. I think I always had a fear of being criticized or getting some kind of facts wrong. And you know how brutal the internet can be. And I was not confident for a long time, not confident enough to actually be able to put my own actual thoughts out there. And because I never went through a path of medications, I ended up going down a path of herbal medicine and more, well, you can say new age or like pagan kind of roots, and learning through nature, learning through tarot and oracle cards, meeting very special people in my path, mystics, and all different kinds of literature. I mean, my tea practice has just been humongous for me. Absolutely humongous. Yes, that word. When's the last time you heard that word? I like that. And it teaches me mindfulness, and it teaches me to stay still and care about what's in front of me. It's taught me to care about my health, my physical health, and my mental health, both combined. Um, and so all these things that I do for myself doesn't it doesn't translate. It doesn't get people curious in my field of work. Like there's just like a lot of bad eating habits and sugar. I'm vegan now, and I can't even open up the fridge and eat anything at this place. I cooked rice and brought my own plant-based butter just to have that. Because margarine, I know, like margarine's fake butter, right? But there's still a little bit of actual milk in there, so I'm like, oh, can't even have margarine. um Not that I want margarine anyway. It's terrible. To be honest, I don't know that much about the plant-based butters, if they're better, but just ethics. So right now, that's where I'm at. um, uh, yeah. So it's working there is just not what I imagined mental health would be, and I have felt a way deeper calling to alternative media was also a course that hit me really deep too. Alternative media, I think that's when I did the magazine, because what the intention there was that in such a digital age right now, like how often do we have a physical magazine? I mean, they're out there and stuff, but to not be it wasn't web designed. It was me getting pictures and printing them off and cutting things out and pasting it on the page. Like that was very hands-on. And even just being hands-on in this day and age with anything can be really healing and stuff. I still like making jewelry. I used to love making polymer clay creations and stuff. That was a creative funnel for me to help myself when I was struggling at different times. Um, and yeah, anytime I'm like working with my hands and create a piece of art, it's like, yeah, yes, it really clears the mind. And if you're struggling and you start make something and you come out with something beautiful, and then you're like happy afterwards. It's pretty much like when I came home from school and I was struggling with something, I would make something beautiful. My mom would call me to dinner. I'm like, look, I'm happy now. My mind is clear. I did something for myself. I did something beautiful that I'm proud of. Um, so yeah, but I've also, since I took a podcasting course in my last semester of university, um, that also changed my world. And that's when I did what I maybe spoke about, whatever you could be new tuning in. I developed a podcast then called Opening the Box, which was, and it was a project. So I, made it like a theme and stuff. So I did it to be interviewing musicians about, well, just what they do and what they play, etc., who they are, their inspirations, yada yada, and also integrate some kind of like mental health conversation. So like, how does playing music or learning a million instruments, how is that good for your mental health, and what do you have to say about that? People just opened up. They were wonderful. I mean, I only did like 7 episodes then, but it was a great thing that I was doing. Why that end? Because I moved across the country and didn't really have musicians at the time, but I was traveling and I was living in Kuala Lumpur Beach, so I was really getting into the nature and whatever. But yeah, I also liked to be interviewing bands when they're coming into town, kind of thing. Could just kind of catch that opportunity, and then I lived there 3 months, really in the woods, and then I went down to Victoria. Hopefully I can get the podcast back up and running, blah blah blah. Yeah, and then you don't know anyone yet, so you gotta kind of feel out the place. And then a month later, pandemic hit. Oh, nothing's happening. You can't talk to you don't get traveling musicians. You get nothing. So then I fell in love with poetry, and in more my own writing journey, I really dove deep into my own mental health. I was struggling in 2020, really struggling with different traumas that were creeping up on me and things that were never went processed, but I was holding on to. So that was a huge, huge thing for me. Um, and so that was also me doing a lot of writing, a lot of working on myself and growing in my strength and my mental health and identifying my patterns and my problems and making so much change inside. So then that wasn't all during 2020. So in 2021, when I moved to Port Alberni and I saw a job for Canadian Mental Health Association, I'm like, that's it. Wow. Yes. Yes. Like that's my path. Like that's that's what I've been working towards. I work so hard. Like this is where I need to be. And it's not. It's not. It's not quite. It's been a really great stepping stone and it's been a good place to be. And I know I'm appreciated, but I need to do work that I know is better. Like the, not better. I mean, there's just a different quality of work that I can offer the world. And I really want to get it out there. I have 100% fully figured out where I'm going with it, but I'm looking in, I want to do life coaching. I also want to do maybe creating courses, or can do like webinars and things and getting people together. So like that's kind of what I'm diving, putting my whole head into right now was like learning how to, empower myself to get clients and put myself out there and but also now I'm also figuring out exactly what it is that I'm trying to say that I'm offering. But if anybody just knows me, then they can be like, cool, coach me. I don't know, whatever. I'm just talking. I'm just talking right now. But here is one thing that did come up, and this was like a nicely worded message that really makes sense for okay. And this would be kind of in terms of like coaching and or building a course. So here's an idea that I've had about working with mental health and poetry. I help individuals who feel stuck due to mental health challenges go from critical self-judgment and overwhelming pressure to building confidence and self-acceptance. Through the creative process of using poetry, they can express their emotions in a healthy, fulfilling way and cultivate a compassionate self-relationship, leading to improved mental well-being and personal empowerment. I'd like to say I wrote that, but it was my ideas that fed into something that actually wrote that. Anyway, I think I read it nicely. Yeah, so like that's the kind of ideas that I'm having right now that I really do want to express my my love for poetry in the world. I know my poetry is powerful because it's helped me get through a whole bunch of things, and express myself and really find my own voice. That's another thing is like helping people really find their voice. And some people struggling with their mental health, maybe they don't always get to be heard. They don't know how to actually express what's going on with them. But poetry is this just beautiful tool that takes you away from just the regular approach of language and allows even your most fragmented thoughts to come together to portray what it is that you're feeling and what it is that you're going through. And a lot of people say that they don't understand poetry, but when they hear me read my poetry, they say like, "Oh, I get it. I can feel it. I get it." I'm like, "I know, because I can write in a way that it kind of engages you and tells you sort of a story and this kind of, I don't know, I just kind of touch on very specific emotional bits that I don't know where to go with that, but poetry is just so powerful, and I would love to use that tool to help other people, find their own path and find their own voice. And if I can coach people through that, if I can create a really great course about it, that's where I'm headed right now. This is my thought processes have really been lately. So I'm filling up my week with a bunch of webinars about this kind of self-empowerment um, and also like just very specific techniques on how to do work online, because that's another thing is that I've been so, working in mental health, it's been in person, it's been in these places. But I can have more reach and find more people who can actually resonate and relate to me once I get online. And that is a resistance I've had for a long time. Like, because I'm also an artist and a crafter, I like to do, it's a lot of supporting the local economy. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't really feel like I don't know. The way things have been in my own personal business, I need change. I need change. That's it. That's all I need to say about it. I need to change and change my approach. And I know that there's just other ways that I can give to the world. First, I've been doing it by providing really nice tea and inspiring you to enjoy it deeper, and find passion for nicer teas, not just buying it something off a shelf and something full of berries. I don't do berries. I do elderberry. That's it. Um, but having a deep relationship with tea, like how I started this podcast, I drank that tea and I just like fell into this chaotic laughter, right? Like that is how amazing tea is. And like, yes, I also want to educate people about that in tea. So, like I can be developing a course that actually has to do with tea and poetry. As much as I adore tea and I can talk about it all day, I don't know. For some reason, I'm leaning more towards doing something about poetry and that kind of growth rather than with tea. But I mean, with tea probably is going to come up also a lot, a lot. Maybe I like put together coaching packages that are about, something or other. And then I also make sure you have all of your supplies to have great tea with me. in our call-in sessions, we are having tea together. And I'm teaching you to practice your mindfulness and steeping techniques. That can be a whole other way as well. So I just haven't narrowed it all down yet. But everything I have to offer can go into these things. But I really have felt a calling to work in mental health in some capacity, wellness industry, something like that. I guess I can easily say that I'm a wellness practitioner, right? But I don't know. There's still something else to it. I don't know. I'm a tea lover. You can say I'm a sommelier, but I don't know if I say I'm a sommelier. Technically, I haven't done like an actual course for it, so no. But like, have I practiced and completely fallen in love with tea and explored so many different kinds? Yes. Okay. Well, yeah, exactly. Works for me. I'm a poet. I am a poet. That's the big I am that I have in my life. I know that I am a poet. Even if I'm not practicing writing or reading it every day, I'm a poet. Yeah. A little note that I left for myself, I guess, about working where I do work now. I might be saving lives here, maybe, but I can save a hell of a lot more through taking my practice in a way different way. Instead of just like talking about all of this, I feel like I should actually just whip out a poem or two. And conveniently, my poetry books are right beside me, underneath other books of sorts. I don't know. Do I just pick something and say it's about mental health, or do I look for a specific one that's about mental health? Oh God, no, I'm not reading that one. It is, but that's not the vibe right now. There's one I'm just going to tell you about it though. It's called Jeweled Beasts, and it was me listening to Eminem and feeling empowerment for actually expressing myself and my deeper thoughts, my more brutal, like chaotic thoughts. rather than just kind of trying to be peaceful and keep it all inside. Just trying to be peaceful and keep it all inside. Like, no, like, you're not growing. You are not growing. That is a message I have for you. You know, just trying to write to please others. You're not even going to please yourself. You're not going to come up with the most quality thing. But if you can get angry and put that into some beautiful words, do it. You're going to be like, I actually put my thoughts onto page. And you're going to be so happy. So happy with that. Oh no. Okay. You know what? This is appropriate. I'm going to read Nothing Can Stop Me Now. Nothing. I tilt the hourglass. Nothing. Shake small pieces of sand. Nothing. I must turn it over completely. Flip. Sand pours through the hole. Stare. Watch it accumulate below. Black sand spell, cast your magic. What does it say? Nothing. For 20 seconds, nothing. For 5 minutes, nothing. Waiting, watching, staring, hungry, patient, searching. The last piece of sand does not sound. No bell. I must remain alert. I have loved and lost love and reloved. Every piece of sand is a morsel of my love. Love past, love present, love yet unknown. Until the glass representing my body shatters, my contents remain the same. All there, all real, all energetic. Every turn of the hourglass feels like something awakens. Sand falls the same, new expression on the surface. What does it tell me? Nothing. Truth lies within the glass, deeper than my opaque reflection staring back at me for answers. Farther than I can reach, I will not carve open this body just to spill the black fragments on the ground. Never knowing, never stopping, always living. What does it express now? Truth within. That was actually, a little reference to not carve open this body, let the black fragments spill. That was like a reference to self-harm. But I've done it myself. But just the idea, like I'm not going to cut myself. I'm not going to do these things. I'm going to just keep moving forward. I'm going to keep the momentum, whatever is going on, whatever does happen. Like I've not been drawn to doing that kind of thing to myself. Unfortunately, a lot of people have, but I guess I just like to express that the ideas and the thinking about that comes up, but never as a desire for myself. It's like thinking about like, where do people's minds go? I don't know, but I don't desire it. I'm not going to do that. This is the way I'm going to approach my life. Maybe if somebody hears those words, it could change how they think and how they feel. I don't know. Hopefully, because that is also an addiction, is self-harm. As I've discovered, I guess, over time. And then I did that one's intense. I don't know if I'm going to get that deep right now. Silence got shot dead with a memory. That was me also expressing a situation with a person that it hurt me deep. And so this poem was actually me, imagining shooting myself. But I'm going to just read you the one that comes after. Is Instinct to Live. I never had the instinct to die. When things are hard, to take my life and leave them all behind. I never had the instinct to die. I knew how to move on, drop the pain, get away. I'm not from here. Somewhere else is always home. If this doesn't work, I'll find somewhere new. There is hope. A poet with a dark demeanor, blood-curdling screams of singers. Those made me feel alive. I've got the instinct to live, survival of the determined, paired with a wildly active imagination. Little shout out to Edgar Allan Poe. Poet with a dark demeanor. Cha. And let's find another in the third poetry book. Okay. No, not you. Sorry. I almost chose one. Oh, this is just a fun one. And you know what? I did reference McLuhan, so I'm going to read this. Battling the Sunset. I will set myself into a battle with the elements in order to find meaning. Sun winks goodbye behind the ridge of mountains. She turns her head and dramatically holds her form, draping her exotic golden dress over the brightened horizon while it slowly wavers and dissipates, casting all sorts of light and shades of color reflecting off of every available ripple of water below. The magic being that every set of eyes peering upon this will see an equally unique view, every conscious perspective changed from every angle at which the bodies exist. As I drift into meaning, which I've found is to preserve the memories of this colorful event before it disappears, I feel the fear of battle, the threat of forgetting her splendor before I had the chance to recite it on page. Purpose arises as she settles with the flowing twirl of her transforming bright dress, and then I see, finally, the sunset is a rainbow setting upon Tahitian shores. Endless is the beauty as she casts the curtain away to reveal the stars of the night. I'll shiver in the descending cold just to capture as much detail as I can. The sensation of temperature slowly disappears, like the amount of available light as I settle in to immerse with the elements. The medium is the message. Light. The artist is the sun. And sometimes poetry is about just capturing this perfect moment that your mind doesn't have the capacity to completely remember. Like in that moment, you're like, I'm going to remember this forever. I'm going to take photographs. Well, I'm sorry, but most phones just don't really capture the sunset like our eyes do. And there was actually another poem that I didn't like. Camera cannot capture her splendor. For technology preserves, but the eyes can feel. That's another poem lines in a poem that I wrote. Cotton candy clouds. But like that moment brought me so much joy, just watching that terrific sunset. And I don't know why exactly. Maybe that was why we drove from Port Alberni to Tofino during sunset into what experienced darkness. Well, it was really great to hang out there as it was getting darker and darker in the day. And yeah, it was getting cold, but it was worth getting to sit down at the ocean and journal, well, write a poem. And probably that was the purpose of that trip, you know? So yeah. So I mean, you can use poetry to just like pour out your heaviest and darkest thoughts and make it something beautiful. You can also use poetry to preserve an absolutely terrific moment that you want to look back on, because when you're feeling down, you can, one, be happy reading about something beautiful, and that happiness is amplified by the fact that you wrote it. Like, how good does that feel? So, yeah. So these are the things occupying my mind. And the one very hard part about all of it is that I am missing my bunny. I have a stuffed animal named Bunny. She's been with me all my life. She is 28 years old. And since the beginning of December, I have not seen her. I have no idea where she is. I have totally rearranged and cleaned out my house, and I have no idea where she is. So I had to start searching outwards. I made a post on the local group on Facebook to ask, has anybody seen her? Did someone's kid pick her up at the market? I don't even know if I brought her to the market, but I have to put this out there. Like, I have to find. So I don't know. Analyzing it, it's like, I don't even want to analyze it. I just want her. I just want her always and forever. Actually, I dreamt about her last night. I dreamt that my friend gave her to me, and she had her for a while, and I just let her have it. I screamed, like I was yelling, so I when my voice wasn't even audible anymore. How high pitched and mad I was screaming at her. You could have just told me. You could have just given her to me. Like, it's bad. Like, I love Bunny so much. She's always been my close friend, and right now I don't know where she is, and I'm just terrified that she really is not in this house. And it's hurting my inner child. My inner child needs her. And like, I don't care what you have to say about what I need and what childhood wounds I have to let go of. Like, I get it. I'm thinking about that. Maybe not thinking deeply enough. I need to have like a really good journaling session about it. But in the midst of doing a whole bunch of change, there's something about her missing that seems necessary, and I hate it. So that's a whole thing. Um, I did already. I did write a poem about Bunny missing before, and I had lost her for 2 years, and she came back to me. So I am very confident she is going to come back to me. It's still just terrifying to not know. That's where I'm at with that. I don't know. Change and disaster are necessary to carve the path to your freedom and the life that you want to live. And I mean, I'm blessed to have spent almost 30 years with this stuffed animal, and I love her so much. I'm not a kid that has just grown up and moved on from Bunny. It's never happened. It's not in the cards for me. But I never will forget her. And I will always have her close to my heart. And her voice will always be in my head. Yes, she has a voice. No, I don't voice it. No, I've never been able to make a voice for her, and I don't know. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I can hear her voice in my head. I I can use her voice to. She has her own Instagram account. Like, she's legit. All right, her Instagram does better than mine in my businesses that I actually try to do, and then she gets way more hits and attention and comments on her crap. Go Bunny. She's a great writer. It's a different thing. I don't know. So anyway, there's me revealing a lot deeper stuff about myself, because I don't know, maybe 2025 is a different energy. It's just feeling very authentic to myself, and maybe a lot of people are feeling that. It feels like it. I don't know. But how are you experiencing your own authenticity this year? Or have you been working towards it, or have you been feeling the calling of that? Yeah, if you're listening to this on YouTube or anywhere that you can comment. Yeah, how are you focusing on your own authenticity, and how are you using it? And is there change in your life that needs to be made in order to, you know, open up and expose yourself and feel raw like that? Like, you heard me at the beginning of this episode. I'm like, I'm kind of scared, but it's good. Like, I really, I just got to talk about a bunch of things going on, and maybe you can find that. Just don't make a podcast necessarily, but you can talk to a friend or family member or someone that you've been unable to like really speak with. So yeah, give it some thought. Okay, well, I am just going to yabble for about 30-ish more seconds or so, because we're at 53 minutes and my favorite number is 54, and the podcast is just going to have to be 54 minutes long. That's just the absolute truth here. So when I just start pouring a little bit more tea into my pot, and then I can sip it and give you another nice big happy yowling outrageous laughter before I check out here. Really quick, short, steep, but I think it will do the job. All right. And oh yeah, that is just black. That is just mud. I am drinking mud in the best way possible. Okay. Oh, I love you, tea. All right. Cheers. Goodbye.